Hello, friends. Here we are. Here we are. And here I am. Hello. And let's get the real me in there as well. Hello. Welcome back. First stream of 2025, if you can believe it. Only 2 months, 3 months in, I suppose. But here we are. Here we are. Hopefully all my levels are good. Hopefully everything sounds and looks perfect. But here we are. Oh, this is exciting. Welcome back to the spaceship. Welcome back to the spaceship. Hello, Glue. I'll give a special wave to you as well. There we are. This is exciting. If you didn't see it, I hope you check out my Pale Garden video. I put a video out last week. I explored a Pale Garden. It was very exciting. It definitely did not go entirely to plan, but that, frankly, made the video a lot more entertaining, if I'm being completely honest. But no, it did not all go to plan. But ultimately, I came out of there alive, eventually, after a fashion, and mostly unscathed. And so we got some stuff from that. And there's some things that I want to do today that I think could be kind of fun, maybe kind of interesting, a little bit less intense than going and fighting a monster or being chased by a monster. But we got some fun stuff to do today, and I think that it's going to there I am, wearing my pumpkin head to keep me safe in the end base. Take that off for just a second so that I can show how excited I am. Let's go. Yes, indeed. Let's get that back on before I get attacked. Minecraft has a weeping angel. It's never going to go to plan. It's true. It's true. Don't blink, whatever you do. But so here we are in the spaceship base, the new spaceship base, the big, crazy storage system. But we've got some things to look at and some things to do. You're talking as if being chased by a monster is a bad thing. I suppose, it depends who you ask. All right, so we got some new resources from the Pale Garden, and I've found a way to slot them in to the existing storage system here. And so a couple things that I've done, if you need a refresher, which you probably do, because I haven't really shared what we're doing here all that detailed in too many times. But basically, this storage system has 16 different little slots here. These 16 slots each contain a shulker box, and each of those shulker boxes theoretically have a lot of the most important things we might ever need. So with all of them combined inside my ender chest, we should pretty much be able to get anything we need at any given time. And we're slowly working on moving in here. There's still a lot to do, but there's a few new things that we got. And let's take a look first at our basics box. All right, the basics box. What do we got? We got nice, wool and glass, stuff to make concrete, terracotta, all the dyes, of course. And then the carpets for good measure. So you can see we don't have nearly enough pale moss carpet. So that's one of the things that we are hoping to address today. And one of the cool things about this spaceship storage system thing is that this light on shows us that we're missing something or we're low on stock of something, right? One of these lights comes on, it means we got to restock. So if we take a look at what we're actually missing, the way to do that is slightly more complicated, but basically just looking here, you can see, okay, we don't have nearly enough pale moss carpets. We need several stacks of each item for it to fully fit inside this storage system. So getting pale moss carpets is a goal for today. Similarly, let's see. Let's just tore all the boxes. Why not? So we got the stone box. Look at that. Ooh, look at all those different types of light stone. Lovely. We have our slate box. This one is a work in progress, clearly. But this is kind of what I'm thinking, like darker stone. Then we have the utility box, also a work in progress for all the various utility blocks and things, little tools that whatever you might need. What is this supposed to be? Oh, literally just paper. I've been using paper as the placeholder item for certain things that I don't have, but that one literally is just paper. And then we have wood, and I think I did already farm enough. Oh no, I guess I haven't actually. Pale oak logs. We need more pale oak logs. And if we look here, I guess the pale oak logs are somewhere. It looks like something is a little bit off kilter here, actually. I may have to take a look at this off stream. This hopper may have gotten a little bit unaligned, but we'll deal with that later. For now, I think we're okay in the pale oak wood-ish. I'm more concerned with moss today. This is our redstone box. Look at all that delicious redstone components. Then we have the orange stuff box. This is a work in progress. Don't really know what else to put in here, but we got our new resin things. These are new things from the Pale Garden. If you did see the Pale Garden video, you know that the resin was a particularly frustrating aspect of fetching the materials, but thankfully we did eventually get all that we needed. And then this one is not here, which is exciting. And certainly planned. Oh, not here either. But anyway, this is going to be the light emitting blocks will be in the yellow box. That only makes sense. Then we have farming stuff, miscellaneous. I'm missing some melons. You can see this is why I got confused by the paper in the other one. But this will be just kind of farming stuff, crops, leaves, greenery. But then this one, the darker green, is our nature box. And this, look at this. We got all our different dirt and moss type stuff. We got all the different saplings, anything you might want to plant on top of the dirt. What a delightful looking box this is. I haven't watched the Pale Garden video where you're talking about it as if you've seen some trauma. Well, you should definitely check it out after this because it, I'm not going to say it was traumatic, but it was certainly, they're full of twists and turns and misadventures, let's say. So check it out. That's on the YouTube channel. But as you can see here, we do not have enough pale moss. And we can see we have a light on here as well. If we look in here, we're actually... Okay, so we need pale oak saplings and we need pale oak moss, I guess. But for all intents and purposes, what I'm focused on today is moss. So we're getting mossy. But then... we got a brewing box. This one's unfinished as well. Clearly, work in progress. All the different brewing ingredients will go there. And then lastly, get excited for this one. The minerals, the valuables. Never mind that I only have 13 blocks of diamond. Just ignore that aspect of it. Everything else is lovely and perfect. Look at that. Oh, it's even organized by color, roughly. These ones, none of these are done. None of these four, but and kind of these are the loosest in terms of concept, but kind of watery stuff to move water, to move items, bubble columns. I don't know. Skulk stuff is in there for some reason because it's blue. I don't know. We'll figure that one out later. Then we have more miscellaneous random stuff. End stuff, nether stuff. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Do not let villagers near that mineral chest. True. Thankfully, we are in the end here. If a villager managed to get here somehow, frankly, it would have been because I brought them here to trap them somewhere, most likely. But, we're not saying that that's a plan. We don't have to do that, but maybe someday. Then moving on. Last two boxes, we got the pink box. This will be mob drops, miscellaneous things you might get out in the world. I don't know. We'll figure that out later as well. And then last but certainly not least, you gotta have all the different types of flowers. And we have our two new ones from the Pale Garden. Again, check out the video. We got closed eye blossoms and open eye blossoms. We clearly need a lot more of these, but that'll be a project for another day. Today, we're focused on moss. We're mossing. So, what do we need? We need to get some moss. How do we do that? So let's take a look. Let's head back to the castle. Let me also, I'm experimenting with background music for the first time today. So if it's too loud or if the vibes are off, please just let me know and I will adjust. I think I'm going to change our music vibe here to, oh, let's just put on some nice chill music. The Minecraft movie trailer has a villager coming into the real world and being hit by a car. You don't know if they could come to the end to steal your minerals, man. Oh, that's true. That's true. The Minecraft movie, or a Minecraft movie, if I should say, is really going to open a world of possibilities. All right, so let's take a look at what our current moss production situation is, because I need moss. I need a lot of pale moss. I could use a more reliable way to get normal moss too, frankly. And moss is great because you get a lot of natural materials. You can compost it all. You can turn it into bone meal. There's a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with moss that's pretty valuable. Background music might be a little too low because I couldn't make it out. All right, you know, honestly, that's not the end of the world. Let's turn it up a little bit, but I don't want it to be distracting. All right, so let's do like that. And hopefully that's all right for now. Okay, so let's take a look at our current moss situation because it's not amazing. So we pop through the end portal, or the end fountain, I guess, technically, which takes us, of course, to our last bed or to world spawn if I haven't slept anywhere in a while. I have no idea where this is going to pop me out, if I'm being honest. Cool, thank you. Appreciate the feedback. Hey, look at that. We're perfectly immediately in the castle main base, which is exactly where I kind of wanted to be. Awesome. Yeah, so here we are. It's nighttime. I guess I'll sleep. Let the world load in around me a little bit. The castle is crazy, so it takes some time to fully load and be smooth. But look at that, smooth sailing. Nice. Okay. So yeah, let's take a look out the front door at the horrifying, giant, ominous SpongeBob that we really need to figure out some way to cover up or incorporate into the background in some way. These are stock music. I do actually make some music on the side, so I've been experimenting a little bit with trying to put my own, trying to figure out how to put my own music in here. That'll be a long, ongoing project. For now, we're just using some stock stuff. All right, so let's head through the castle depths and to our back courtyard. Ah, here we are, the back courtyard. What a lovely place. Our airship in the sky there, the giant tree. I feel like my render distance might be slightly too high. I don't want this to be insane here. Yep. It keeps resetting to 96 chunks for some reason, which is just egregious. All right. So here we are in the back courtyard. We got some cows visiting us, it seems. Hello, cows. But what we really want to look at is over here, because this is my little, oh, there's the sniffer cave. Hello, sniffers. Oh, you got some seeds for me. Thank you so much. That's really kind. Ah! You don't want to get stuck inside a sniffer. All right, I can also take this off. For the time being, we should be pretty safe. And it's so much better to be able to see without a giant pumpkin in front of your face, isn't it? All right, so these are our horses. Moros, the most balanced horse. Hypnos, the good jumper. Thanatos, the speed horse. And then, of course, Mulemas, our mule. Their parents are in here. Oh, yeah, you guys are looking a little worse for wear. Erebus and Nyx. All right. Well, anyway, that's the horses. But over here, right here, this is the current moss farm. Not exactly industrial. So let's take a look. If I grab a scythe, in other words, what are these things actually called? Hoes. Those are not parents. Hey, I mean, just because their parents are old doesn't mean they're not parents. All right, and then we got, so I grabbed this, and then I think that should be pretty much all we need. I also have over here, you can see I've got some moss things. You know what I really need is, I need some pale moss to experiment with. So let me grab some pale moss out of my brand new nature box. Nice. So this little system here was kind of my first makeshift moss farm, if you even want to call it that. And basically, underneath here is a little bit of a contraption where I can kind of scythe away the moss that's here. And you can see it's all getting collected, except for this piece. It's all getting collected, and then it ends up going into here. It's okay, but it's a pretty manual process. Old, those are bones. Hey, you know, they're really old. All right, so then I have this barrel here full of stone. You can see this is an extremely manual process. I grab some stone out of here. I fill in the stone. You can see perhaps why I'm interested in improving this system. I fill in the stone here. And then, theoretically, if the sun is out, which it is, when I place the last stone over the last of these 4 daylight sensors, it should bone meal this moss and give me a nice little, whoop, nice little moss patch. And it's kind of fun, because it's like you get a different moss patch every time, right? It's like a little bit of variation. I kind of like stuff like that. It's like, you know, it changes the environment, keeps it a little bit dynamic, but very tedious. Placing all the stone. Also, I don't have any kind of stone generator here, so I'm literally just, I'm like stocking this full of stone so that I have stone here that I can use. Not the most effective process by any means. But let's see, because I want to try replacing this center one with pale moss and see if it will spread the same way. In theory, it should. Never mind the manual work, the moss patch is pretty clever. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I think so too. I think it's kind of fun. Like it, you know, having an area that's like a little bit different after I've used it is a bit fun. But, you know, if I actually need large quantities of moss, it's pretty tedious to come here and do it. So I kind of want to make something a little bit more automated, but this definitely won't go away. Like even as an art piece, like being able to come here and, you know, change it out whenever I want to change up the moss is kind of an interesting idea, I think. But now I'm curious to see if this works. In theory, pale moss should work the same way as moss. So if I do this, my system underneath will bone meal that, and we should get a pale. Oh, that's pretty cool. It actually looks pretty good there too. Like I might sometimes leave that as pale moss just because it looks nice. But good to know, good proof of concept there. Bone mealing pale moss works much the same way, which is pretty cool. That being said, again, not scalable. not nearly enough moss to get as much as I want just to be able to fill up the storage system. Otherwise, I would just be here manually doing this for ages. But let me do this again. Oh, that's the other problem, is if I place them wrong, I ruin the whole place. All right, let me put these back in here. Oh, yes. Oh, nice. A grass right in the middle. So we should get some more pale moss and pale moss carpets here. Nice. Cool. So we got some there. I mean, it's not the slowest thing in the world. Like I could stand there for a while and get like a few stacks of moss if I wanted to. But I think the idea of having a moss farm that I can use to get normal moss and all the associated stuff, like moss carpets, like azalea bushes, like both the normal kind and the flowering kind, as well as being able to get pale moss and pale moss carpets, or being able to like flip a switch or something and have it make bone meal could be pretty cool. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Pale moss may be a breakthrough for horror map makers. True. Yeah, honestly, it's it's very unnerving. And also, like, they added this effect to the pale moss leaves where there's like little leaves that float down, like a particle effect from them. It's very cool. So anyway, I want to think about this a little bit and like see where the best place to put a moss farm would be. And there's a couple contenders that I want to explore. So first being, we could try to, change this place to be more automated, but I don't think I want to mess with it too much. Like I kind of like the history of it. And I kind of do like the fact that it creates a moss patch that's like, pretty custom and a little bit different each time. And it's just kind of a fun little feature of the world. It's like a reason to come here and play around and see visit the horses. Hello. What you got for me? A bucket of tropical fish. Nothing very good. Well, I'll let you live. Oh! Oh. Hello. Hello, kitty. You going to check out the pale moss? Yeah, it's a little spooky, isn't it? Oh. See you later. Oh, hello again. Anyway, so there's a couple... Oh, you lost one of your llamas. Sir. Sir. You lost one of your llamas. Well, I'll keep that lead and put it in my barrel right next to my horses. Thank you very much. So there's a couple places we could put it. I think probably putting it here is not ideal because I do like that little feature. So there's a couple other spots. And the first one that I want to talk about is actually, there's one more thing I want to talk about first before we go off on that journey, which is moss is great for bone meal, right? Because bone meal can be made by putting really any organic material in a composter. And so if you can have a fully automated moss farm that's producing tons of different types of moss and all the little things associated with that, the grass, the azalea bushes, the carpets, all that, throw them all in composters, you can basically get limitless bone meal, because you do need bone meal to bone meal the moss to make it spread. But you get like one, it takes one bone meal to spread it. You get like, however many different organic materials, it more than pays for itself. So the other question is, what is my bone meal situation currently? And right now, the only way that I have to get consistent bone meal is from my skeleton spawner. So let's take a look at that. And you can see how kind of atrocious the rates are, frankly. We're going all the way down to the basement here. I just realized how abnormally tall your skin's hair goes up. It is one of those custom character creation skins. It is it is from the stock character creation. They did change it a few times, which is a little bit annoying. My eyes used to be much more like quizzical or squinty. You can see it actually in my like channel thumbnail or profile picture. Like my eyes are a little bit different. These are much like wider, happier eyes. But yeah, the hair is just a stock hair. I don't know. I like it. So this is the basement of the kind of castle under paths. I don't know what you want to call them. This is kind of the fusion between the more kind of medieval stuff and this clearly very futuristic item elevator system that we have here. And you can see in this room, this is purely for fun and lore, but you can see how, I experimented with a few different types of steampunk engine designs and various cogs and things. And I eventually just, discovered that I could upgrade from copper to quartz and all that. And so here's the final version of the fancy pump that powers the whole castle. Obviously, this is just lore and this is just for fun, but that's the fun of Minecraft, isn't it? So, I guess while we're down here, we can take a look at the slime farm. You can see we've got some slime spilling out over here to show us that this is where you go. And here we've got a gross, slimy pipe full of slime. We got slime balls coming down here. You can hear them. Someone pissed and thought about that sheep device. My brain is not okay. I can neither confirm nor deny that I know what sheep device you're talking about. But you can see we have slime coming out of these pipes, oozing out, and oh, I love this effect. Look at that. Little drops of slime coming out of this one pipe. I think that is so cool. If you want to peek behind the curtain, the way that you do that is with a spore blossom, because they have this little particle effect that's like green drops, which just works so perfectly in this room. And also means that there's little green particles floating all around, because this is a slimy room, a bubbly, slimy room. And across the way on the other side, of course, we've got our skeleton spawner. You can see arrows, bones, bows, the kind of things that you get from skeletons. And if we travel down here, here's the skeleton spawner. We got some big bones sticking out of the wall, and you can see there's the spawner behind some tinted glass, so it still works, even though we can look in and see it, which is a wonderful addition. I really like tinted glass for that reason. And we should see some skeletons spawn, and there they are. And they're going to make their way to this, for lack of a better term, this blender. And this blender will... Oh, he doesn't want to get in the blender. Come on, into the blender you go. Don't tell those horses' parents about this. And so their items from the spawner will go down into here. We've got arrows, we got bones, and we've got miscellaneous drops. You know, this is kind of useful for making dispensers if I need a lot of bows. Otherwise, not super useful. And kind of annoying because I get all this other junk in here as well. But if we just stand here for a few minutes, you'll kind of see the rate that I'm getting bones currently, which is, well, it's more than no bones. And this was a good example because a lot just came in. The reality is now there's no skeletons probably. Here's some come. I can hear them into the blender. You can see where I'm going with this, right? The rates of this farm, because it's not really a farm, it's just a single skeleton spawner. So the rates are not great. This is my only AFK source of bone meal at the moment. And yeah, it could be a lot better. Frankly, getting it from moss should be significantly faster. The slime and bone decor, is it an item frame trick or like mods? Great question. So these are bones in invisible item frames. I use a resource pack that just makes all item frames invisible. On Bedrock Edition, you know, if you want to have achievements enabled, which I do, you can't use behavior packs, aka, you know, client-side mods if you're on Java Edition. What you can have is resource packs. And so kind of the best option that I had was to just have a resource pack that makes all item frames invisible across the board. The consequence, you know, the downside of that obviously is that I can't ever have the normal item frame texture, unlike in Java Edition or, you know, on Hermitcraft or something where they can place an item frame and go do a command to make that one specific item frame invisible. Kind of have to paint with a broader brush on Bedrock Edition if you want to also have achievements. And so that's what I'm doing here. I have all my item frames are invisible. And similarly, and I think you picked up on this, similarly, these are like that right there, this bone sticking out. Those are in armor stands. And I think actually it might be, no, it's not worth the effort to try and disable it to show the armor stands. But basically, very similar. I have a resource pack that makes all armor stands invisible. So again, you kind of have to paint with a broad brush in Bedrock Edition if you want to be able to get achievements. I figured that being able to do something like this, where I hang a bow up on a, fence post, like that's way cooler and much more broadly useful than actually being able to see the wood frame of the armor stand. It does make it a little bit challenging because sometimes I have to like move them back into place or they'll get messed up or something, and I have to do it while they're invisible. And they also only have so many different poses. Like, I think I'm actually, like you can see right now my cursor goes away. I'm hovering over the armor stand right now, and if I change the pose, you can see I'm cycling through the different poses here. And another limitation of Bedrock Edition as compared to Java, unlike the fancy armor stand book and things that they have in Hermitcraft or what have you, I only get these different like 16 or 15, I guess 15 different poses to play with, but generally enough for doing some cool stuff. And you have to get a little tricky with how you place them, and sometimes you have to like sink them into the floor a little bit or something, and you have to get creative with it. And I don't mind that challenge. I think it's kind of a fun constraint. Here's another one. Yeah, the bone sticking out. That's like, there's an armor stand somewhere here, probably under this, with its arm going, oh, hold up a bone. But yeah, so that's how I'm getting bone meal currently. And that's not really the most efficient way to get bone meal. So I kind of want to have a more sustainable method of bone meal. So that's kind of the plan for today. We'll see how far we get. Like in a perfect world, because I don't have a design, I don't have a plan. I'm not just going to be blindly copying some moss farm that I saw in a tutorial. Like I've looked at a couple different videos for inspiration, but I kind of want to just mess around. I think it's generally, for me, I find it more rewarding when I can play around and figure stuff out on my own. So that's kind of the plan. But the first question is, it's going to be, where do we put it? And I think we have a couple options. If we fly out the front door of the castle, never mind the giant SpongeBob, if we head into the beautiful distance here, just as the sun goes down, we're heading now towards World Spawn. I'm now realizing the elevator buttons are stairs. Yep. They're stairs in invisible item frames, rotated to look like up and down arrows. I'm glad, frankly, that you didn't notice till now, because that means that the immersion is working as intended. This is World Spawn. That way leads to the castle, as you can see in the distance there. Lovely. But if we go this way instead, we head down towards this jungle, which is only slightly out of place in this otherwise spruce forest. But here we have this cool little jungle right here with a little campsite. Oh, lovely. And a little pool. Oh, so nice. And is this all there is here? No, of course not. Of course not, because I like to hide things, places. If we swim in here, if we jump in the pool and swim down into the caves, into the depths, we arrive at the bamboo farm. And so this is still growing. I just added this fairly recently. The idea is this is going to create a wall of bamboo, and then back there is going to be something a little bit interesting. We'll see if we ever actually get to that project. I have a very ambitious idea for something to do in this area, but we'll see if we ever get there. This is kind of the interface to the bamboo farm. We've got bamboo coming in and a crafter that is creating blocks of bamboo, dumping them in here, which is really pretty cool. We probably have bamboo. Yeah, a bunch of bamboo coming in here. And the way that where this comes from, this is a nice little ender portal that leads us back to kind of the main nether portal, not ender portal. Nether portal. Over here, this is a little bit messy, but basically here we have a window to the bamboo farm. which is one of these flying machine based giant bamboo farms. We have this very makeshift timer just built into the floor at the moment. But if I want to just see it go once just for fun, I think I can push this button. And you can see the flying machine moves across. Ideally, the bamboo would be a little bit more grown than this, obviously. But the bamboo moves across. This is a modified version of Silent Whisperer's bamboo farm design from probably a couple years ago at this point. Definitely recommend checking that out, and generally following Silent Whisperer for really great Bedrock Edition tutorials. We can see it goes there, comes back, and once it comes all the way back, it's also picking up this closest line of bamboo to us, which doesn't get hit in the first pass. You can see bamboo grows so fast, it's already like getting more. There's already more growing. So that all goes back, that goes back there. And then once it goes back into that little dock, it triggers the collection. And so we should see all of these bamboo pieces that are sitting on the floor get picked up. That's because there's hopper mine carts going back and forth underneath there, picking them up. And then those are traveling through water streams down. This is all underground. But it travels all back to the place that we looked at before. And here we go, and we should have a bunch of bamboo coming in, and you can see that it all comes in here. And then we've got kind of like an infinite mine cart with chest-based storage unit, which isn't really necessary since I added the crafter. I built this farm before crafters were introduced, so I used to just have like a ton of bamboo in here. But now, because I'm compacting it all into bamboo blocks, it takes a lot. It's really not going to fill up the same way that it used to. So I could probably change that a little bit. But this is our best source of wood, which is, I mean, it's just amazing. Bamboo is such a good addition to the game. I can make so many chests from this, which like I use a lot of hoppers. So being able to use to make like essentially infinite chests is very important to me. You've been talking about the ambitious bamboo project for a year. Oh no, you clocked me. I guess I mentioned that before. I realistically, it's a crazy project. We'll see if I ever get there. But I have, I just redecorated this room and put in this wall of bamboo, which is a step in the right direction. So we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, the reason I'm here is because I could see an argument to be made that if I'm hanging out here, watching my bamboo get, chopped down, maybe we have the moss farm somewhere here too. So I could just like stand here and be getting bamboo and moss and bone meal. It's a thought. I'm not sure I'm convinced. But that's one option. The other option, which I think is probably more likely what I want to go with, is in the actual industrial district next to the castle. So let's take a look at that. We can head through the nether. I'm lost. All right, we can head through the nether. Our nice secret undecorated nether cave here. That pops us out right by the main portals. Lovely. If we head through here, these are our main nether portals at the top of the castle. From here, we can look down upon our entire land. Hello, SpongeBob. Whoa, castle. But over here, this way, let's go down a nice way. We'll go through the castle. If we go through here, out kind of the back door, or one of the back, I guess this is the side door. Oh! Hello. This is the industrial area. We have some fun things here, like mud and clay. We got a water tower. We have our kind of hot air balloon in progress right there. Up there is the roller coaster, which is a pretty fun thing to ride the roller coaster. I think there's some parts of the roller coaster that are broken right now. Unfortunately, we probably can't ride it, or we could try, but maybe we'll do that at the end. But right here, through the chain link fence, past the barbed wire, is the real quote unquote industrial area. Torch spam, not the most visually appealing. I should probably do something about that. But this is where I have this is like my main, I guess, AFK spot. I'll kind of come here. I have an iron farm. You can see our iron golem banner. That's the iron farm there. We have a zombified piglin, aka a gold farm back there. We've got cactus here. I made this one fairly recently. I had never really made a cactus farm before, so this was kind of fun. It turns out it's incredibly simple. I don't know why it took me this long to make one. You literally just put fences up here, and then when the cactus grows, it doesn't like being next to something, so it immediately pops off and falls in. Oh, there one goes, right there. Wow. Water streams just push it right down. That's pretty cool. So we got plenty of cactus now. I needed a bunch of green dye to fill my basics box with green dye, and now I have more cactus than I'll ever need. And then this in the middle is like a tree farm. This is just directly a Silent Whisperer design from a few years ago. You can, it only works for certain tree types, but it's a lot of the important ones. You can put a sapling here, it'll grow and push it over there. So I'm kind of thinking that, like, maybe Moss Farm goes right here, so that I can just be standing here getting gold and iron and cactus, and also bone meal most of the time, or really ideally bone blocks. And with the crafter, we should be able to compact any bone meal that we get into bone blocks. That industrial area is terrifying. Yeah, thank you. It's honestly like, it's not the scariest industrial district I've seen, but I'm pretty proud of it. I tried to keep it fairly modular. Like, this whole system in the middle is not really in use currently. I had built this crazy system that doesn't really work right. I think they released some updates, honestly, at this point, a few years ago that broke it. But originally the idea was I'd be able to come here and just like pop a shulker box in here, and then it would send a mine cart with the shulker box over to here, and then fill the shulker box up with gold, and then bring it back and pop it up here. I've seen you play Marvel Snap, so I'm assuming you're a fan. Are you going to watch Daredevil tomorrow? Oh, that's a great question. I'm very cautiously optimistic and excited for Daredevil. I really loved the original series, and I'm very hopeful that they can recapture some amount of that magic. And from what I understand, this is going to be the first project that comes out that's like post the period where they realized that the quality was slipping a little bit and went back to the drawing board in terms of creating Marvel shows and movies and stuff. So I know that they had written a whole series, probably shot some of it too, and then they realized it sucked. So they just went back and completely redid it. So I'm really hopeful that it's going to be good. I'm going to watch it with an open mind, and I'm really going to be excited if it's great. So I hope it is. What is this? What monsters are nearby? Oh wait, I think I remember. I think there's like a, oh yeah. Hey guys. We got 4 horsemen of the apocalypse down there. They've been down there for a while. That's really funny. I guess I'll just leave them there. They don't seem to despawn, which is pretty funny. But it also means I can't sleep. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I'm thinking, you know, like I was saying, the system in the middle doesn't really matter. I'm not really too worried about that. I had started to build like an equivalent module here a million years ago. Never really went anywhere. it doesn't really work right anymore. So maybe someday I'll rework those or figure out how to make it work again. But for now, I pretty much just run around and just pick stuff up manually. And honestly, that's pretty fine. But I'm thinking maybe moss farm goes here. I've got more space. I don't have to dig out a huge area. And it would be kind of nice to have the symmetry of 4 giant farms here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm leaning towards that a little bit more than doing it in the bamboo area. But we'll see. The idea of 4 horsemen being kept underground by an insane redstone master is hilarious. Yeah, you know, they just want... This is why you don't wander in to my redstone circuitry. Because I will just keep you there forever. And if you mess with my redstone, you're going to be in trouble. So, that's kind of the plan. What I want to do now is pop into a creative world and just do some experimenting. I don't know how far I'm going to get with this tonight. Like, in a perfect world, I'd be able to come up with a perfect design, implement it here, have moss flown in, bone meal flown in by the end of the evening. But somehow, I think maybe we'll encounter some unforeseen challenges. But that's where I want to start. So I'm going to do my fancy thing where I pop into, close-up mode. Hello. I'm going to change over to the sandbox world. Wow, sandbox. Where is it? Here it is. And then, just like that. Oh, my render distance is way too high here too. Hold, please. All right. And here we go. In a blank, empty world. Just kidding. There's all sorts of insanity in here. This is my redstone testing and just general stuff testing world. Creative, super flat, obviously. I have prototyped a lot of stuff that you see in the main world in here. Some things definitely have not made it in. I guess I was trying some tree designs here, which is interesting. And this is like a witch's cauldron. That did not get used. I ended up going with something more like this for the witch farm, which I don't know if I've been to on stream. Probably have. But anyway, I just want to play around with some moss stuff. So I'm going to pick a nice unused area here. Hey, llama. Da Vinci would be proud. Thank you. Thank you so much. Genuinely, a great compliment. So let's try some things. So what do we need? How do we make a moss farm? This is the first and most important question. We need a cobblestone? No. Nope. No cobblestone. We need a stone generator. And I think it's been a while since I made one of these, but we need lava. We need water. We're definitely going to need some pistons. I'll grab a sticky piston just in case. We got a lot of the other stuff we need here. I'll grab some like normal glass and some light gray stained glass just for fun. I'll grab some light gray concrete just in case we need something basic. But theoretically, creating a cobblestone generator should be as simple as, let's build ourselves up into the sky a little bit here. I'm a little close to my terrifying witch sacrifice altar. Maybe I want to be a little further away. All right, so here we are. If we put some pistons here, let's just start with one, just to see how it works. So in theory, let's see. If I put glass there, glass here, glass here, we'll just start there. Let me get a lever. I'm pretty sure now I can waterlog the piston, which is a nice, I think this is a Bedrock Edition only feature. And immediately, that doesn't work all that well because it's falling out the sides. So let's move this lever and let's encase this a little bit better because we want it moving forward. Okay, nice. So now we have water flowing forward out of a piston here. Nice. And then if I pour some lava on top, it should make stone down there? Yes. Okay, cool. And now if I push this and retract it, the water pours out again, we get more stone. Awesome. So I can make this bigger. Let's get rid of the lava for now. I can make this bigger, big enough to make a whole moss farm. And I think with moss, at least the way that my like little patch in the castle courtyard works is you stand in the middle and it spreads it to at most 3 blocks out from the center. So I think we basically want like this spot here to be the center or so. And we want 7 by 7-ish square. How does that even work? Yeah, so this is an interesting thing. So if you have water, so there's some interesting interactions between water and lava, which are worth showcasing. So this is a water source block. If I put lava on top of a water source block, it creates... Wait. Now I'm confused. I thought that's how you made obsidian. No. Okay, it's the other way around. If you have a lava source block and you put water on top of that, it makes obsidian. Okay. But if it's the other way around, if you really have any kind of water, I think it can be a source or it can be flowing water, lava will turn that into stone. So you can do like, you can have it coming out a little bit more, right? The water can be flowing, right? So this is, here we have now, this is a water source block and this is a flowing water. And in theory, if I put lava here, it will still turn it into stone. Nice. So we have basically an infinite supply of stone because if I move this or break it, the water flows out again, it keeps making more stone. So this is how you make a stone generator. Wait, no, I thought I made cobblestone, not regular world stone. Right. And that's because if you specifically pour the lava on top of the water, it creates normal stone. But if the lava, like, let's see, if the lava like flows on the side, oh, well, that just makes, that didn't work. So maybe maybe it's like flowing lava touching flowing water. That makes cobblestone. Wow. Interesting. So really, if water touches a lava source block, it turns that thing into obsidian. But if water touches flowing lava, it turns it into cobblestone. And that's why you see random cobblestone patches whenever you encounter like random lava next to water in the world or in a cave. But weirdly enough, if you put the lava on top, it makes normal stone, which is crazy. But that's the principle behind stone generators. And because moss can turn stone into more moss, we can basically create infinite moss this way. So I think what I need to do is just create like a row of 7 pistons. That's interesting. I had no idea you could make regular stone. It would have saved so much time for things I've done. Yeah, well, you live and you learn, right? So if we do 7 across, I want this to not be waterlogged at the moment, maybe, just so I don't go crazy. All right, so here we have our pistons. Let's encase these in some blocks. I'm going to do these yellow because I want to power those probably. So if we do that, then if we waterlog all of these, now we have basically the water source is in this block and it's flowing out of here. So if we create a little trough for some lava up here, we should be able to turn all of this into stone. all the way across. How far does the lava flow? Yes, just far enough. Perfectly. Okay. So now, in theory, if I can power all of these, we push that whole line of stone away, and then we get a bunch more stone. I guess it might be nice to have this blocked off so we don't have water pouring out every time I do that. Right? Oh, it's coming out the sides. Let's do that too. But there's the general principle. So now what we need to do is make a clock to keep doing this basically as fast as possible. So let's see how fast we can do it. And when it comes to making clocks, my go-to thing is to create this little, just this little shape right here. And I basically want this block, because this block, if it gets powered, it'll power this whole line. So what we can do is put a torch here. That powers the line, right? But then, if this is powered, we can read a signal out of this. That powers this. And then if we put some redstone down here, it'll power this block again, turning off the torch. This will shut off. That'll shut off. This goes across. It'll shut off again. Turn the torch back on, and so on and so forth. So we should see so on and so forth. Clearly, this clock is way too fast. It's not giving enough time for the water to flow out and turn it into lava. Thankfully, the nice thing about this little clock design is we can adjust the speed. This is going at I guess basically a 2-tick speed right now, because there's 1 tick. This repeater's on 1 tick. The torch adds an additional tick of delay. So if we increase it like that, still seems too fast. It's like occasionally working, but not reliably. So let's go to 4 ticks. Again, yeah, no, it's not reliable. It's not happening consistently. So I think hopefully this will get it. Unfortunately, this still seems too fast. Yeah, so here you can see it's going. Let's break some of this. And you can see it'll fill it in. This is fun. You can make like a bridge that just repairs itself or something like that. This is it's like working ? But it's not super consistent. I think maybe increasing the speed of this clock would be smart. Unfortunately, that means I can't use my nice little design here. What I can do is make a slightly different one. We can introduce some extra delay by having 2 repeaters like this, right? So this is going to be kind of double delay. And basically all I need to do is, if the torch powers this and it goes around and unpowers itself, it's the same concept. So you can see it's a much slower clock now. We're not seeing the thing because we have too much stone. So let me put a lever and turn that off and clear some of this out. It's as beautiful as watching a printer. It's true. It's true. It is. This is really the original 3D printing. All right, so let's clear all this out. Get this all out of here. And then, how's this look? Oh, man. Wow. It's like worse somehow. That doesn't make any sense. I guess what we really want is... What we really want, we don't want the piston arms to be like extended for all that long, because there's not really any benefit to that. What we really want is the pistons to push quickly and then wait, right? So this is screaming observer to me. So I think that's what we actually want to do here. So I'm going to change this up a little bit. What we can do is, if I have an observer pointed, let's see, this way. And then if I have a piston There's surely like better ways to do this, but I'm just doing it my own way. So now if I power this, it'll push the observer up. The observer will observe that it's looking at a new space now. And so send a 1 tick pulse to this block, which will power all this redstone just for 1 tick, which will push the pistons quickly, then retract them, and then hopefully give it a fair amount of time, right? So if I click this, right, just one little push. So now if I hook this piston up to a clock, we should see something more along the lines of what we're looking for. So let's try my little this shaped clock again. Little thing there. Little thing there. Let's go ahead and put it on 4 ticks just so that we give ourselves as much space as possible. And now oh, that looks pretty good. Oh, that looks pretty good. All right, let's turn this off. Clear this out again. What I should really do is some kind of a fill command to empty these out so I don't have to break them all the time. But there's something kind of satisfying about breaking them manually too. So let's see. Let's see if it misses any or if it gets every single one. I want to break this all. Okay. And we can watch it from below. Oh, missed that one. Okay, so I think maybe it just might miss the first one as it like syncs up with the random tick speed that causes the lava to make the water into stone. I'm kind of guessing here, but I think I actually might be able to go 1 tick slower. So I want to try that, and I will use my fancy pants commands here. Let's see. If I do fill, all uppercase. If I do fill like, 15 by 15 by 15 around me, I guess actually a 30 block radius around me, I can replace stone with air. Aha! That was satisfying. I could almost cry. The stone printer is beautiful. It really is. All right, so let's see if it works with the repeater on 3 ticks, which should be just about 4 ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the loop of the clock. Misses the first one probably. That's to be expected. Yeah, no, it's missing. It's missing like every other one. I think for stability, it probably makes sense. Oh, there's something so satisfying about that, isn't there? I wish that I could I want to just like see it go forever. Unfortunately, it eventually hits the 12 block piston push limit, which is so sad. The 12 block push limit, I understand why they needed to have some kind of limitation there, but it would have been so much more fun if you could just push stuff way further than that. Especially on Bedrock Edition with flying machines, you have to get so creative with it because of the differences in sticky pistons. I won't, between Java and Bedrock, I won't go into that, but basically, we don't have all the nice things that we could, and it's a little sad. But there we go. So this is a good foundation to the system. And let's see now, I think what I really want to do is have like a radius around this, or a little wall, because now I want to start playing around with the moss part of this whole system. And we're just engineering here. You work on one little bit, get it to work, then you move on to the next part. Eventually you've got something huge and crazy and complicated, but it's really just a bunch of small parts added up. So I think we want to basically have this square full of stone, because then if there's a moss in the middle, we can bone meal it, it'll spread it around the outside, and we can go from there. And so to do that, I'm going to grab some obsidian as well and put that here so that we actually don't need to push any stone further than that. And obsidian can't be pushed, so that should stop it. So if we turn this clock back on, we should see our perfect, beautiful 3D printer here just create us a perfect 7x7 square of stone, which is immensely satisfying. Amazing. So, now let's get some moss. We got pale moss, we got normal moss. I will start with just the normal moss because they do work, they should work the same. We need some bone meal too. All right. So if we grab a moss, someone has probably made a mod to remove the push limit and crash their world trying to move infinite blocks to the eastern hemisphere. Yeah, true. All right. So the way that my little moss grove works in the castle courtyard is that I have the moss right here, right? And so I bone meal it and it spreads. And now if I turn the machine on, moss should break when it's pushed by a piston. So we should see all this stuff break and fall down below. Yeah. Oh, that's also extremely satisfying. Except for those carpets. That's less satisfying because I want those carpets. Also, everything ended up on top, which is maybe not ideal. So it seems to me that we have two challenges, actually three, because one challenge. So the first challenge is how do we get the carpets, which are staying on top? Second challenge is how do we collect all the items? And third challenge is how do we prevent this one moss block from just being crushed to smithereens, right? Now it's gone. I can't bone meal this. Thankfully, I'm pretty sure, and I haven't tested this, but I'm pretty sure that the moss will actually spread if it's one block above as well. So I think if I bone meal this, oh, yes. Look at that. So if we turn the clock back on, the carpet's obviously still a problem, but there we have. And now if I bone meal this again, oh no, right. I forgot about this. I think that you can't bone meal moss if there's something on top of it. That's why whenever I'm standing in the little moss grove, I have to always break, like if it spawns a carpet or a grass or something right below where I'm standing, I have to break that before it'll work again. Yeah. But then once you do, it goes. Okay, so we've got a few more challenges now. We need to figure out how to clear the moss carpets off of here. We need to figure out how to clear that space above the moss if it ever becomes full. And we need to figure out how to pick up all these items, which hopefully should be as simple as like hopper minecarts. Hopper minecarts should do it. They can pick stuff up through a single block. So they should be able to get them. So let's try and tackle these one at a time. Let's see if water can help us. So with the carpets on top, let's see what adding some water into the corners does. Cool. So that does break them. So if I did like 2 waters like that, now it pushes all the items into this one line. It's maybe not ideal. Oh, I put a lever there. Didn't mean to do that. If we put the water like here, or let's say here, now it's pushing everything to these few blocks. Now I'm curious if I want to see if I can pick those up. So let's get a hopper minecart and a rail. And if we put a hopper minecart here, will it pick up those items? Okay, it picked up some of them, but it didn't pick up these ones. Oh, because this water actually isn't flowing. So this is a little bit tricky. We might need to figure out, I mean, we could just have, like, the simplest thing would just be to have hopper minecarts going back and forth under the whole thing, picking up everything. And that might be what we end up doing. But I also don't love this. What if we did, like, if we had 3 waters, where does the water go? Or 4. 4 kind of pushes it all into the center. I kind of like this maybe, because if we do this, then we could just have like a single minecart going around. Now let's try this out. Let's try it. Doesn't hurt to try. If we have a single minecart going around here, and let's say like a hopper, and let's grab a chest. Redstone with Will Awake. If we grab a chest, put that here, put that there, and then we'll get some powered rails. Now we've got this nice little circle. If we pop a redstone block right in the middle, it should power all of those powered rails. Beautiful. And then let's throw a minecart with hopper around here. Going around. Okay. So now, I guess we'll need to remove the water when we want to grow the moss, because we won't be able to grow moss when there's water. So I think we're going to have to do a kind of like grow a moss, bone meal the moss, have it spread, then do the water, then retract the water, then do it again, kind of thing. So if we do that, if I bone meal this, bone meal it, okay, cool. If we put our water in all the corners, will this stuff all get collected? Yeah, nice. It does. Oh, I don't know where that came from. That might have popped through. So that might be something I need to think about, but okay. Now the problem with this is that we have a cart. We have a cart going around with a ton of stuff, and it's only dropping off one item each time. So we really probably need we'll need to parallelize this collection a little bit, but that's okay. We can figure that out later. So next problem, let's put a pin in the water problem for now. There's probably some good way to do it, but the next issue is that we need to clear that space off the top in order to bone meal it. We also need to bone meal it at all. So let's get a dispenser, because I think we're going to need to have a dispenser pointing into the moss block like this. Let's throw the bone meal in there. If I put a lever on this, yep, that works as expected. But then we would need to dispense some water. That also means we'll need to power this somehow. And maybe that comes from this direction. And then the other thing that we need to do is have something that clears out the top. And I think a piston probably will work for that. So let's see what happens. Can I power this and will it work? Okay, it doesn't work because it tries to power it, but by the time it tries to power it, there's already a piston on top of it. So that's not ideal. What if we did like an alternating type of thing? Right? Like what if we had yellow concrete with a torch? Now the piston is extended when this block is not powered, which means this dispenser is not powered. And if I power this now, oh, that works. Okay. And then when it unpowers, it clears the top. So we could potentially have a clock doing this. And that seems like a pretty good option. Yeah, that seems to be working pretty well. So essentially we can have, and I wonder if we can actually hook the water up to this too. Right? Like what if we had, what if we had dispensers hooked up to the same circuit somehow? So let's see. How do we do this? How do we power this? Powering this might be kind of tricky because we can't use this stone because we can't put anything on this stone because it's going to constantly be pushing it, right? Like if I tried to put a repeater, I think it would just break it. Right, if I break this, yeah, it breaks the repeater. Okay, so we can't do that. That's one option that is out the window. So what do we do? What do we do? We could... I mean... One option is make this whole thing smaller, right? Like it doesn't necessarily need to be this full size, especially if we're going to get a lot of moss. Like realistically, most of the moss that gets produced is probably in... Well, I don't know. It is actually, I mean, it's making a lot of moss around the outsides. I was kind of thinking like, what if we just do a smaller section, like just the middle? But I would kind of like to have it be as big as possible, if it's possible. The question is just how do we do it? And it might be a challenge. So let's see. What are some other ways that we can power something? We could try an observer. Now the problem with an observer is that it's just going to be one tick. So let's see what happens if we do this. Does it work? I kind of want to clear away all these carpets as well. Right, so if we do that, let's see. What do we got here? If I do this, will it work? Oh, it did work. It kind of worked perfectly, actually. And then if I do it again, oh yeah, that works. That works amazingly well. Awesome. Cool. So that's really all I need for that, I think. And then we can just make a dispenser or put in a few dispensers to have water buckets. So let's see, if I put those there and 2 here as well, we can put water buckets in here. Well, I'm actually going to need to get more water buckets because I have to actually use the items and put them inside the dispensers. All right, let's throw these water buckets in here. Lovely. Now, if I can power all of these each time, then that should do it. So what do I want to do? I really want to... Did I put them all in? Oh, yeah. I got confused because I got an extra water bucket. So what I really need to do is each time this fires, I want to then pulse these things twice, basically. Which sounds a little bit tricky. How do we do it? Let's see. We want this to pulse one time. Maybe this is on a piston. Right? What if we do this on a piston like this? So now this thing goes one time when it gets powered on. And we want to basically power this on and then double pulse these. And double pulsing should be easier? Question mark. How do we do it? How do we do it? What do we do? What do we do? All right, we need a new... Let's get some lime. Let's get some lime going. We need a new circuit. So essentially, we want... When this powers on, we want to power this thing twice. Which sounds tricky to me. But it actually might not be that tricky. And if I get... Maybe this is silly, but in theory, if we do this and we have more pistons here, this is definitely not the most efficient way to do this or compact. But we're just creating a prototype here. So if I do this, it should push this out, trigger that, then retract it when I power this off, powering this and causing it to retract the water. Let's see if it works. So let's see. Let me clear out these carpets. I should have just used the water system that I'm building. All right. So if I do this once, okay, that didn't work at all. And that's because powering this piston did not power these. That makes sense. I should have foreseen that. What we can do instead, again, we're just testing. This doesn't need to be beautiful or perfect. We can compact this later. But basically, we do that, which seemed to work. And then if I retract this, it should power them again, remove the water. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's working pretty good. So if we make the same thing on the other side, it probably, there's probably a better way to do this. Like maybe I do it like this with the observers pointing down. Watching one of these contraptions get made in real time is fascinating. Thank you. I'm glad it's interesting. It could have easily been like totally mind numbing. So I'm glad that it's actually interesting. I think it's really fun. Like I really enjoy this type of project. All right, so we need that there. We need one of these. We need one of these. And then basically we need to power this. That triggers the thing. Then it turns off. Retracts all the water. Now we just need to mirror this on the other side. Let's do the same thing. There we go, there we go, there we go. All right, now if I can get the signal from here to there somehow, again, I'm just gonna do this in a silly way, but we can always improve this later. If I just make a line right across the middle of the thing, this should work, in theory. So if I do this, we should get a growth, and then all the water comes out. Nice. Amazing. That's very satisfying. It's all going in here. It's all coming. Okay, so there is definitely some popping out down here. I wonder if we, like, probably just putting some glass underneath would solve that. So I'm just going to put some glass all around here. Maybe, hopefully that will stop it from popping through. We'll see. All right, we'll fill this all in with glass. We can still open the chest, which is a lovely thing about glass. I'll also, just for fun, I will... Nah, no, it's fine. We're gonna have to deal with the issue that, like, this hopper's only taking one thing out of it every time the minecart goes around. And maybe the solution is like just more minecarts sitting there just on top of hoppers stationary. Or maybe it's like having more hoppers around the size, all transferring it somewhere else, but that's a problem to be dealt with later. So then if I turn this off, it should retract all the water. Oh, beautiful. And then it's primed for the next one. That's super cool. So now what we need to do is make like a clock that is a good speed for this. And for this, like this type of clock is way too fast. Way, way too fast. Because we really need like pulse, wait for all the water to, or I guess maybe it could do that part fast. And I kind of want to try that. But it definitely, it takes a while to get all the items in. So let's see, if I put an observer here, which would be a 1-tick pulse into this system, I kind of want to see if that is sufficient. And I feel like it won't be, because I think it will retract the water immediately, like way too fast. But let's try it just to see. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, that, look at that, works perfectly. It literally doesn't even grow the thing. Okay, well, good to know. And this is why we try things. So what we really need is like a clock that is going to power this at a more slow rate. And I think for this, a hopper clock sounds right to me. So if we put an observer, sorry, no, not an observer. If we put a comparator into this as our main input, then we can have a hopper. And if there's anything in this hopper, the comparator will read a signal out of the hopper and power this. Actually, this won't work because I'll just show you. If I put one thing in here, you can see it did power it, but this signal strength is really weak because there's only one item in here. And it's going to be like, the closer you are to 5 full stacks, the closer it is to a redstone signal strength of 15. And so this is like totally weak. This is like a power 1, which is not nearly enough. So I need to move this back slightly. So what I think I need to do is put a repeater here to fully power this up to 15. And we can have this pointing into that. And now, if I have a hopper in here, we can put one item in here, and it should... Oh, right. Whoops. If we put one item in here, nice. It powers the whole system. And then when the item's removed from here, it unpowers the system. So what we can do now is make a hopper clock where a bunch of items go back and forth between these two hoppers. So while there's items in here, it'll be powered. While there are no items in there, it won't be powered. Is this going to work? Maybe. Maybe? Maybe not, though. Because if we have a bunch of items moving back and forth, it's pretty much going to be just like a split second where there's nothing in that before more items go back in and then it's powered again, which might not be enough time. But let's try it. Let's just try it and see. There's no harm in trying. So the normal hopper clock, this is the classic Etho hopper clock. Got a comparator coming out of each side. You've got, I mean, I guess, I don't know if this is the exact design of the Etho hopper clock, but the principle is the same. You basically just have you have these pistons that push a redstone block back and forth. Am I doing this right? I don't know. I always have to kind of wing them. So in theory, now, if there's an item in here, it pushes it across. Those items all flow into this one now. And then as soon as there's nothing left in this one, it should push them back. Yeah. I put too many items in for my demonstration. So let's get it a little bit faster. Nice. Yeah, so here we have very basic, typical Etho hopper clock. But of course, the whole mechanism is totally broken. Yeah, it's actually not working correctly at all. But the principle's there. BRB 1 second. All right, back. Okay, so the issue here is that we only get a tiny little pulse for a second when the clock transitions back and forth. And what we really want is more of like my guy fades in like a Jedi dying true. I will become more powerful than you will ever know. So what we really need is for it to be like on for a time, off for a time. On for a time, off for a time. Oh, and obviously, we literally already have that. I mean, look at this. We've got a redstone block right here for a time, then it's over here for a time, then it's over here for a time. So I think I just built this thing too high, because instead of reading out of the hoppers, which just gives me pulses when the items fully move back and forth, what I really need is just this. So let me rebuild this slightly lower. And for this, because a redstone block will fully power the thing, I think I can get pretty compact with this. All right, let me do it real quick. This is the problem, is sometimes you just have to break everything and start over. So let's see, if I put this here, that's powered. We'll put piston there, and we'll put a piston here. Cool. And then let's get our hoppers in underneath. Hopefully this one won't be powered by this, but I'm pretty sure it won't. Oh, but also this piston isn't getting powered anymore in this system. Oh no. Okay. This is a little bit of a problem. I think we need to, I think this could just be redstone dust. Yeah, that works. Kind of. The whole system is messed up, but we'll fix it later. Let's get this clock in first and we'll see how it works. We need some of this, we need some of this, we need some of those. All right, let's get this. Let's get a comparator here. Let's get this comparator here. Then we just pop a block there, pop a block there, pop a block there, and some dust. And now this, once I put some items in, and I'll do a nice long clock to start. 16 items. So we can see, okay, it's off. Oh, yes. Then it turns on. Amazing. Then it should turn off. Cool. Then it turns on. Then it turns off again. This is working. This is actually working. I thought I was going to have to like fix parts of it, but it's actually seems to just be working, which is kind of amazing. I am losing a lot of moss out the side. I'm definitely losing some moss out the side. I wonder if, like, where's that happening? Is it flipping? Is it coming out here? Like maybe I need some more glass there. I don't want to be losing moss out of the bottom of the thing. Oh, it's flying out. What do we do about this? I wonder if, I mean, it's probably overkill. We could theoretically have another cobblestone generator on, or not cobblestone, but another stone generator on this side that's pushing in from that side as well, which would keep stuff more centralized in the middle. That's one thought. Or, I mean, I don't hate that idea. It's a little bit, it's probably overkill. The other option, which actually might be more sensible, would be to get rid of these two dispensers altogether and have the water. Oh no, I don't think that'll work because of the way this is. This is a dilemma. This is definitely a dilemma. Let's see. I mean, this is like, for a total proof of concept, this is working pretty well. We're definitely losing some, we're losing some moss in strange places, which is not ideal. As you can see, as moss just flings out the side of the thing. Let me turn this off for now. What's the best way to turn it off? I'll put a lever. My brain. I'll put a lever here. That should keep it off, I think. All of this stuff should stay in there. Yeah, cool. So that's my on-off switch for now. Of course, we have this guy still just going away, going on like crazy. Let's see. Possibly having another cobblestone or stone generator on the other side is like a decent option. But actually, no, I think it's probably too risky, because if Like, would it ever push? It could potentially push this stuff out of the way. It's probably just better to stick to one. The principle is there. I wonder if screw the collector, you've made a full-blown moss throwing machine. Honestly, true. Like, maybe I try to collect it in a different way rather than like having water funnel it all to the middle. I mean, I do need the water anyway, but like maybe the water could funnel it into like a hole or something. Like, what if, okay, here's a radical idea, but let's try it. What if I brought this out? Let me turn off the cobblestone generator for a second. What if I moved this out by one and replaced these with like, I don't know, this is maybe crazy, but we're just playing around. We're just trying stuff out. What if I put fence gates here and opened them? These could also be like signs or something. What's going to happen if I do this? So I think we probably need another layer up here to stop the water from flowing out. I don't know anything. I know nothing about redstone, but you could put a bunch of hoppers under it maybe. Yeah, the challenge is, I mean, right, like there could just be a ton of hoppers underneath to catch the random stragglers. I think like ideally I would have it be a little bit more controlled than that, but maybe if it's kind of pushing stuff this way anyway, like if I had hoppers here, for instance, like, is that going to catch most of them? Let's try it. Let's see. Also, it's not going to break my fence gates, right? Yeah, no. Okay, it can't push those, which is nice. If I turn this back on, most of it's floating into the middle. We're still losing some out the sides, I think. My clock is also a little bit too slow, I think. I could probably... I mean, another option here is just have hopper minecarts going underneath the entire area, which is not a horrible idea, maybe. Because I don't think this crazy idea is working. Like, there's none in here. Okay, there's one. Yeah, I mean, I could just have hoppers around the outside to catch the stragglers, but that feels a little bit messy to me. Maybe I'll... All right, let's turn it off. Let's turn it all off. What if we just did hopper minecarts all the way across the bottom? Because maybe that would just catch it all, and then I don't have to worry about this. Like, trying to funnel it all into the center is maybe not worth the effort. If I could just have a bunch of hopper minecarts going back and forth and picking up literally everything. So I'm going to ditch this whole system under here for now, and we'll replace it. Oh no, I can't break this! That's important. That's keeping my water in. But everywhere else, and it's also worth like considering that if I have a little bit of loss in this farm, it's probably not the end of the world. But hopefully, I think I need glass here too, because that's where the water flows. Cool. So if I have hopper minecarts all the way under here, maybe this would work. And what's the best way to do this? I mean, I could, okay, let's just go, like, go big or go home, right? Let's just put in 1 million hoppers. I'm going to try it. Let's see how crazy the rates can get. So if I have, like, a hopper here, I can just have a line of hoppers. I have plenty of hoppers because I have an iron farm and I have that bamboo farm for all of the wood and iron I could ever need. So I'm really not hurting for hoppers. And I've never had significant lag issues in this world because of hoppers. I think Bedrock Edition is just enough better optimized than Java in that regard. That stuff that I hear people talk about in like Hermitcraft videos about lag and stuff, I've never really had to deal with. I'm also the only one playing in this world, which is probably a very big difference. And I have a pretty powerful computer, so I don't know how much of it is server versus not, though. But anyway, that's boring. Let's just put a giant line of hoppers like this, and let's then... So these are like, this is 7 different lines of hoppers all pointing this way. And then I'll have a chest here, here, with all these hoppers pointed into that chest. So anything that lands in any of these hoppers should come along here, go into this line, and then end up in this chest. That's the theory. So let's see what we can do. If we just do like... How do we do this? I think we create some walls like this. And then... Is this going? No, it's off. Good. So I can break this stone and not have to worry about it, which is nice. Let me actually just... I'm going to use my command. Nice. That makes things easier. Cool. So if I have some stone here, I'll put one more layer of glass as some buffer. And then I'll put some stone. I guess this isn't stone. This is gray, light gray concrete, but same principle. So if I have powered rails going all the way like this, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 powered rails. Is that enough? If I were to use a lever to power this, does that power all of them or all but one? Yeah, perfect. I think 9 is exactly the right number. So that's pretty cool. So if I can do that for all of these, we're not too worried about efficiency. Oh, no. Oh, no. I built this the wrong way. Oh, rails are so annoying. Okay, so we have to get a little bit creative with this, which is annoying. Rails are frustrating. I think that maybe they're working on fixing this somehow, but depending on which direction you're building them in, you kind of have to do some annoying tricks to have to get them to face the right direction. So I really need to go out an extra layer here. Oh, this is such a pain. I should have built this turned 90 degrees. All right, so if I do that and I do this, then I should be able to build these. Okay, yeah, so as long as I have like an extra rail sticking off the end there, it's happy. But as soon as I put this here, like try to put one here, because there's not an extra rail over here, it'll do that, which is just dumb. But anyway, I can just work my way down the line. Classic rail challenges. Oh no, it's all going wrong. All right. This should be okay. Oh no. Wait, why didn't that work? Thought that would... Why are those redirecting? That's not supposed to happen. Do I have to do like... Was that... This is breaking my brain a little bit. This is definitely breaking my... Like, these are fine. Like, this is all fine. This is... It's happy with this. What? Why? That's... Why? Oh my gosh. I've ended up in rail hell. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to pretend to try and explain what happened then. I'm just going to be happy that it worked and keep moving forward. All we can do is keep moving forward when the rails act in crazy ways. All right. Last line here. Perfect. Now we're never going to touch these again. If I put in an extra line, if I do this now, I can power all these. And we should have a nice line of powered rails all the way across. Beautiful. Let's do the same here. We don't need to power these ones because they're powered from the other side, and that's fine. And now, if we put in a bunch of minecart hoppers, they should all move back and forth. And anything that they pick up, it's kind of satisfying. Anything that they pick up, these hoppers, this giant hopper array below will immediately pick up, and it'll all start funneling into this chest. And we already got an azalea. Nice. Okay. It's been fun watching you come up with all this stuff, but my time is coming. I must depart. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much, Glue. I always appreciate having you in here. And enjoy the rest of your evening as well. Or day, or whatever time it is for you. All the best. Appreciate you. All right, so now if I turn the stone generator back on, we should get our line of stone coming across this. Beautiful. And let me... Oh no, I didn't put in my obsidian. Oh no! No! It's coming out too far. Oh no. Let's turn that off. Let's fix this up. All right, we'll put some obsidian there, and then we'll also just go around the outside with some glass just to try and keep this all a bit more contained, if that's even possible, so that we don't have stuff flying out the edges. We shall see. All right, let's do this. Nice. And now I'm going to try a lower speed. Let's try a faster speed. Let's try 8 blocks in here and just see what happens. See if it can keep up. All right, so we get it out and then goes away. Oh, the cobblestone generator's off. This is an important detail that I missed. The stone generator's off. All right, let's turn that back on. And are we losing any moss? I'm not seeing any moss loss, which seems good. We're getting this all in here. Okay, cool. This is seeming pretty promising. So we've got the stone generator running. If we turn the main longer clock on, there we go. We get that. It makes all that stuff. Clears the water out. Then happens again. Aha! I think we could probably even go a little faster with this. We are maybe losing a little bit of moss on the edges, but I think we could probably go a bit faster. Yeah, let's try it. Let's try going faster. I'm going to turn this off. And then, what is this, 8? I mean, let's try twice as fast. Let's just see what happens. Okay, it seems like this is right on the edge of what's reasonable. There's still definitely like sometimes a little bit of water on the like field before when it tries to grow the moss. So it's sometimes missing some of them. So I think it needs to be a little bit slower, but I'm just going to try adding one more item. Like, let's just try 5 moss blocks in here. It doesn't matter what item it is. You know, anything that stacks to 64 will act the same way. So let's try this. What happened? Am I out of bone meal? I think I'm out of bone meal. Oh, yeah, I'm out of bone meal. Wait, this begs a very important question, which is how am I going to get bone meal in there? Oh, no. I mean, I could just manually put bone meal in here, but ideally I would have some source, some like hopper line or something feeding in here and filling this with bone meal so that I don't have to, so that I can have more than just like 9 stacks of this stuff, right? So I think I need to have some kind of bone meal delivery system somewhere. I think the hopper minecarts underneath work fine. Like this is, for my purposes, I think this is totally acceptable. The other thing that's worth considering is, I mean, I guess that was only a single stack of bone meal, so it would generally last longer than that. But I would like to not have to manually fill this with bone meal all the time. So we'll see. There's got to be some way to get a hopper line in there. I'll have to figure something out. But what I want to try is pale moss, because in theory, it should just work the same way. So let's see. Oh. And there we have it. I mean, that is a fully automated pale moss farm right there. With the unfortunate exception, or the unfortunate reality that, oh yeah, the timing is like perfect. Unfortunately, I don't have a great way to restock with bone meal at the moment, but that's a solvable problem, I'm sure. And we should be getting plenty of stuff. If I check my chest down here, yeah, look at this. I mean, we're getting pale moss so fast. Like this is going to be way more, realistically, this is going to be way more moss than I ever need. I think like the other thing that I could do that could be fun would be having, let me turn this off. I want to try something out here. If I have an additional, okay, yeah, I guess there's still stuff filing in. How backed up is this? It is like fairly backed up. So this stuff is definitely coming in faster than this like hopper system can keep up with. But I think that's generally okay. I probably won't be running. I mean, like, you know, I can run this for a little bit and it'll probably be fine. Also, I think with the system that I kind of want to try adding, that would solve some of these problems too. So let's see. Let me wait for these to clear out, or I'll just clear them out manually. Great. So the other thing I was thinking is optionally having like let me get another color. I'll use light blue. If we have some light blue here, and some redstone dust like so, and a lever like so, right? So right now, I've just locked all of these new hoppers that I added. So right now, this will act the same way that it has been acting all along. The items will drop in here, they'll come all the way here, they'll enter these hoppers, and then because these ones below them are locked, the lower ones are not going to pull any items down. So they'll continue, so the items will just move across as normal, end up in this chest. But if the line is unpowered, then they will pull them and they can drop them into these composters, which now I can also pull items out of from below here with a hopper line, a similar hopper line. If I place my hoppers in the right direction. And so now with this powered, it acts the same as it has been this whole time. All the moss and different things go in here. But if this is unpowered, then all of the stuff should go into these composters and we should start getting bone meal. So let me try that. I'm going to switch it back to normal moss just because I think that like creates more different plants and things on top. And I kind of want to see it in action. Also fill this up more with bone meal. I got too much stuff in my inventory. I need bundles. What do we need? Bone meal. Bone meal. All right. Let me just fill this up fully with bone meal. I'll need to figure out how to replenish this. It'll be a challenge. Let's see. All right. Okay, so if I unpower this and turn the system back on, we should start getting bone meal created. Oh, this is interesting. So there's maybe some stuff getting stuck up here too. So that'll be something we'll have to figure out. But for now, stone generator's on. Let's turn the main clock back on as well. We should start to see lots of moss and various plants created. They should all be going down into these hoppers and all across. And now we should see these composters start to fill up. Oh, look at this. Yeah, look. The composters are filling up. Fun. And then as soon as each one fills up, it turns into a bone meal. And look at this. We got bone meal coming in. It's fairly slow. I mean, I guess it's not like... It's definitely faster than the skeleton spawner. Yeah, because how many bones... How much bone meal do you get from one bone? I don't even know. Let's try. Let's see. Or I guess, can I do it here? Yeah, so you get 3. All right, so... Oh, I mean, yeah. I think this is pretty good. The other thing that I can do here, which I probably should do, is use a crafter, because I really want to compact all of this bone meal into bone blocks. So I'll stop these for now. So we get the items going back in here. You can see this thing's filling up. The composters are not filling up anymore because I turned that off. And I can replace this with a crafter. And then from here, I can have a little bit of a signal. I can read a signal out of the crafter. How exactly is this going to work? I think I can read a signal out of the crafter like so. And then if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was a crazy way to count it. But essentially, we want, when this has a signal strength of 9, meaning all 9 slots are filled, that's when we want to power this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 should do it. Okay, we are losing a little bit of moss. I'm going to have to figure that out. And maybe it's just, you know, something like that. I think it might be that simple. We'll try it. Seems like we're losing some stuff on top as well, which I guess is kind of to be expected. I guess just making this a little bit taller should help with that. Same with this side. There'll probably be some loss around these moving parts here, but I think that's okay. I'm comfortable with that. So now, let's see, if I put this here, a chest here, the crafter, once I turn this back on, the composters will start filling up again. And then as soon as they create their bone meal, the bone meal will go in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of them will fill up. That will give this perfectly a signal strength of 9, which hits this block, which powers the crafter to craft a bone block. Maybe. Let's try it. All right. Here's 1, 2. You can see the signal strength. It's getting more powerful. It's getting more powerful. And then there it goes. And it should have made a bone block, and it did. Wow. Amazing. This is pretty cool. So here we've got a fully automated moss farm that has 2 modes of operation. One where we get bone blocks, which is just amazing. The crafter is like the best addition. The crafter is like the best addition of Minecraft. It's such a game changer for what's possible technically, and it's so fun, and it's just such a good idea. So we got one mode of operation that just produces bone blocks. Amazing. Or we can also turn that off, and we have our mode that just gives us the actual moss and the actual azaleas, wheat seeds as a bonus, moss carpets, or we can swap this out. We can swap out the Let me grab it from here. I've got a pale moss in here. If we, oh, there goes my bucket. If we swap out the normal moss for a pale moss, now we should start getting the pale stuff. Oh, and interestingly, it does still make normal grass, so I should still get seeds. So I'll get pale moss and pale moss carpets and seeds probably from the pale mode. Pale mode. Now it's still, yeah, so you can see the hoppers, it's not really keeping up. So I may need to figure out some clever ways to deal with that. Like, you know, maybe instead of having all of these hoppers going this way into this one line, like having half of them go that way, half of them go this way, something like that, just to kind of handle the load. But here we've got pale moss coming in. Amazing. And of course, pale moss also can be used to make bone blocks. Amazing. I'm very proud of this. This is pretty cool. There's definitely more to be done. You know, there's a few challenges. Like, it would be fun if there were a way to automatically switch out the pale moss for the normal moss, or maybe even, crazy idea, but if I wanted to get real fancy with it, I could just have two of these, one right on top of the other. One of them normal moss, one of them pale moss, all of them feeding down into the same storage collection. That might be the way to do it. Go big or go home, right? So I think that's one challenge. The other challenge is how to get bone meal in here. Because right now I had to manually fill this with bone meal. There's not like a great obvious place to have a hopper line go in here. I may need to rethink where this piston is and stuff like that. Like maybe the piston can push down from above or something. There's got to be a way. There's always a way. I'll just have to tinker with this a little bit. You know, similarly, I'm losing some items to here. Like maybe there's some way to do this with a solid block instead of a torch here so that I don't have, you know, there's not like a surface where those things can collect and sit and despawn. So that's something to work on as well. The storage, the like rate of collection, right now it's getting a little backed up. Just because this thing is insanely fast and effective, which is really exciting, honestly. You know, having too many items coming in is a good problem to have, ultimately. But, you know, probably dividing up the way these go, having them kind of having two different collection lines or something along those lines. This thing could also be simplified. This is the most trivial version of it. Like I could simplify that for sure. And then, of course, there's putting it in the actual world. And I think if I'm being smart about this, I should keep tinkering with the design, you know, make it as compact and kind of modular, effective, efficient as I reasonably feel like optimizing it to be. And then once I do that, I think the industrial district is the right place for this to be, because this is a very cool looking industrial thing. It would kind of be a shame, I think, to hide it away behind, you know, underground behind stone walls or something like that. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to continue to tinker with this design. I'm going to improve, you know, fix those problems that I mentioned, and then ultimately we'll be moving it in. We'll be moving it into the real world. And speaking of the real world, we have spent far too much time in a creative world. Before I end the stream for the evening, let us just go back and pop into the real world, because we've been floating around in flatland for way too long, and I think it's time to visit our true home. And here we are. It's loading in. Never mind how laggy it is as all my crazy contraptions load in. Ah, look at that. Wow, the castle in the distance. So fun. Yeah, I'm thinking that right here is where that's going to go. And I think that'll be a really fun addition to this place. And really, it will be awesome to be able to come here, get iron coming in, get gold coming in, get bone blocks coming in. Those are like 3 of the most important things in the entire Minecraft world. So, you know, obviously I have to go somewhere else for bamboo and wood, but I think that's fine. We've also got a lot of cactus here, which serves very little practical purpose, but I guess I could be converting some of this into bone meal too. Not a terrible idea. And yeah, I think that's the plan. I'm not going to do that on stream tonight. I think I've got more tinkering to do, and it's probably getting, you know, the more I have to refine that contraption, the less interesting it will be, because it's more just try something, try a small change, see if it works, and so on. But before we call it an evening, let's just take a fly around the castle, because if you're not going to live in the world, it's stupid SpongeBob. If you're not going to live in the world that you built, then why'd you even build it, right? And I feel like maybe there's a little bit of a lighting glitch, or maybe it's just noon, broad daylight, but what a fun place. Here's my unfinished spooky village, which is a lot less spooky and more visibly unfinished during the daytime. But the castle looks pretty nice. And the industrial area looks pretty nice as well. We got the path leading to spawn. We've got our world gate here to take us to any different dimension that we might want to go to. And of course, out the back, we have the beautiful ship. The beautiful ship. There's definitely some weird lighting thing going on. Hold, please. Hold, please. We're just logging out and back in. I need my mood lighting. It's way too bright in here right now. Come on now. Come on. Ah, and back we are yet again. Look at that ship. So cool. Look at this back gate. Ah. The back gate is fun because if there's ever an invading force coming, you know, the pigman invaders coming from here, you can blow the bridge. Blow the bridge. Not the most effective bridge blow I ever did see. And of course, we have a button to restore the bridge as well, because you gotta have a button to restore the bridge. And we've been doing stone generators. It's nice to see a basalt generator for once. And I think that we shall end today's stream with a little bit, just a little bit of a walk through the castle itself. Because as much fun as, you know, these technical projects are, these farms, industrial districts, all that, it's also like really nice to just spend some time in this place. And like this room, for instance, this great hall is a purely decorative, entirely not functional place that also deserves a little bit of time. And so I'm going to sit at my table here, look out over the lands, say hi to Wilbo, munch on my apple and mutton. And with that, I will bid you all farewell, and thank you so much for joining me. It has been a fun night. It's been a fun night. Did I rotate with the mutton? It's been a fun night. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, I'm Will Awake, and we are hanging out. I don't know. We're just hanging out in Minecraft, and that's just fun. So until next time, au revoir, adieu, arrivederci. See you later.